Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I have never, in my 7 years of RVing, done all of the maintenance required on the fifth wheel hitch. And part of that was because I never opened the manual to know what to do. And the other part was just being dumb on my part. And it turns out the fifth wheel hitch is a critical component if you own a fifth wheel trailer. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you why it's important and show you how easy it is to do the maintenance. Before we actually look at the hitch in the back of the truck, I just wanted to go over this manual real quick because it has a lot of good information and it tells you exactly what you need to check. And right on the front cover for end user, number one is read and follow this manual every time you use Hitch. Well, I just got to say a big oops to that because I did not do this in the past. But once I looked in here, I could see why they say that. It has a lot of good information. So if you scroll down, on the very first page after the cover, it says before each trip. And what you want to do is lubricate the skid plate surface of the hitch and pivot pin grease fitting. And you use automotive chassis grease or a plastic lube plate, which is what we're going to use, and I'll show you that. And use lithium grease to lubricate the pivot points of the moving parts within the hitch. And this is something that really is important because the hitch is all steel. And so you need to have that lubrication to keep those parts from locking up or rubbing against each other, etc. So this is a very important part, and I'm very sorry that I neglected it as much as I did. And then the plastic lube plates, it tells you the lube plate must be 12 inches in diameter or larger to properly distribute the kingpin weight. So that just means the plate that we're going to use, instead of greasing the skid plate surface, it has to be 12 inches in diameter or larger. And then before each trip or maneuver, operate the handle and check that the jaw opens and closes freely, which is something that I've always done. And then number 4 is just telling you to make sure that all the pins are in place and everything's secured, so you're not going to lose anything on the way, causing a hitch failure and major damage to your truck bed and also your fifth wheel. And then if we scroll down a little further, this next page talks about lubrication. And so it says to lube the center section as shown in figure 2 with lithium grease. So you can see there's 6 areas here that we need to lubricate. And this is from the before each trip section. You want to make sure and lubricate these points. So there's 6 here. And then lube pins and slide bar opening as shown in figure 3 with lithium grease prior to installation and operation. So these have been lubricated before installation, and we will lubricate this as well with the lithium grease. There is a warning here in the manual, and it says failure to check and follow tow ratings could result in tow vehicle damage or truck and trailer separation while towing. And this is critical, and figuring out your tow capacity of your vehicle and the weight of your trailer is critical in this process. And we actually have a video, and I'll put the card up in the corner here so you can take a look at that video on estimating tow capacity and talking about the importance of that. But they clearly outline that warning here. And notice in the 25K Elite, which is what we have, you cannot have a pin weight of over 6,250 pounds. Then again, there's another mention here of the lube plate and saying it must be 12 inches in diameter and not more than 3/16 of an inch thick. And they give some part numbers for lube plates that you could get actually from them. In this maintenance section, it tells you to recheck the tightness of all hardware every 1,000 miles. And it also gives you the torque specifications for the bolts. Anchor assemblies should be lubed every 6 months with lithium grease to keep assemblies moving freely. And check the before each trip section and the lubrication area section in this manual. And that's what we looked at before. So we will make sure and do this going forward. I did read somewhere else where if you are a frequent user of the hitch, you should lower this. The anchor assembly should be lubed every 3 months instead of every 6 months. So now let's just hop over to the truck and you can see this being applied to our actual hitch. So I've already taken the skid plate off of this hitch because I was doing some cleanup work, and it's easy to show you the maintenance that needs to be done in here with the skid plate off. So you're going to want to remove that before you do this. And they recommend using white lithium grease, and you can get this at any auto parts store. I got this at Advance. And if you remember from what I showed you in the user manual, there was 6 spots under here that they wanted you to make sure that you provide grease to. So the first 2 are these outer brackets, so we'll spray those down. And then I'll get a rag and clean this up after I'm done, so it won't be such a mess on the hitch. Okay, then the other 4 are the outsides here, and then on this there's a bar in the middle here. So we'll spray this down. Okay, so that's all you have to do on the underneath. I'll get a rag and clean this up, and then I'll put the skid plate back on. It just mounts with 2 pins. If you have a Reese 25K Elite, I guess I should have said that before, that is our hitch. And so we'll get that put back on and show you the rest of the maintenance. Okay, now we're gonna grease this where the lever goes in and out. We're gonna grease that with the same white lithium grease. And then we'll just wipe off any mess that we made here. And the last part is to use a grease gun with some automotive grease in it and hook it up to this Zerk fitting and put grease in there. This will lube the components under here as well as the hitch mechanism. All right, so you see the grease starting to come through, and that means it's greased up. And the only other thing that you can do if you choose to is to put some grease on the inside of there. So we will do that as well. And then we use a plate on here, which I'll show you in a second. So we don't have to grease the skid plate because we have the plate that goes on there in place of the grease. This is the plate that we use in place of greasing the skid plate on the hitch. And this just simply goes up here on the fifth wheel and put in place. And then when you're driving, this reduces the friction instead of the grease. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. after you go and do your fifth wheel hitch maintenance, please drop a comment and let me know how it went. And also, if you are a regular fifth wheel hitch maintenance doer, I guess, let me know that as well, or if this was an eye-opener for you. So until we see you on the road, safe travels.